A lot of people who have religious organizations make the big mistake of turning their religious organizations or churches into corporations. The main reason this is done is because they think in order to get a tax-exempt status from the IRS, they must become 501(c)(3) organizations, and also because they don't understand the language of the forms they file. So we see a lack of understanding and competency in the qualifying for tax-exempt status. Let's look at how the IRS does its exempt status designations. Here we see that certain organizations wanting the tax-exempt status are given the option for filing several forms. The 1023 Easy Form, the 1023, or Form 1024-B. Here it says don't file Form 1024 if you're applying under the 501(c)(3 or 501(c)(4 designation. Why is that? Well, let's find out. Let's look at Publication 557, which outlines the rules and procedures for organizations that seek recognition of exemption from federal income tax. Right here on page 3 it tells you exactly what you are doing, and many people simply miss it. It says under the application for exemption under the 501(c)(3 designation that the 501(c)(3 are corporations organized and operated exclusively for religious, charitable, scientific, testing for public safety, literary, or educational purposes, etc. So when you use the 501(c)(3 designation, you change your church into a corporation, and that is how the IRS can indirectly tax what is now a corporate entity. Examples of indirect taxation are audits that you now agree to, which could cost legal fees. Also, the IRS enforces rules on excess benefits or private inurement, which restrict church staff from receiving excessive compensation or benefits. If church members receive excessive benefits, the IRS can impose an intermediate sanctions, excise tax on those transactions. The IRS can require donor disclosure, which could entail compliance through legal processes charged to the entity. Generally, anytime you are forced into a position to produce records or submit to processes, the entity requiring submission can either charge you directly or through court proceedings, even if there are no personal appearances. And lastly, look at how the IRS defines a church. For the purposes of this election, the term church means a church, a convention or association of churches, or an elementary or secondary school that is controlled, operated, or supported by a church. What does that even mean? If a child asked you what is a car, are you going to say, well, a car is a car? Here you can see there is a purposeful effort to stay away from defining what a church is, and the answer to how to get exemption without turning your church into a corporation lies herein. Follow or contact for more information.